I printed this for my daughter so that she could become savvy in handling herself. As you know, it's very important when we're in a courtroom situation that we understand jurisdiction, that many times the forced commercial transactions that are being forced upon us that impact our freedom and the theft of our loved ones, our persons, and eventually our health, and cause us to be disabled, our futures and vested interests taken from us, and wrongfully killed, is a matter of understanding status and understanding who has jurisdiction to do these things, and to be able to recognize when a person is acting criminally under color of law. So this is your First Amendment rights, the United States Constitution Bill of Rights. The First Amendment provides that Congress make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting its free exercise. It protects freedom of speech, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. There is a new civil rights movement underway in these United States. Families fight back, saying no more DHS demonic horror stories. Once galvanized, once organized, when we find each other, we will be doing multi-dimensional moving forward progress, impacting, increasing our quality of life by one, filing our lawful documents, filing our letter notices, filing our evidence gathered. Our strength is in our numbers while we find each other and we begin to preserve our documented experience, our evidence, and we join it in with a similarly situated, measured class of similarly situated claimants per jurisdiction, moving towards a nationwide Supreme Court class action, no doubt, while we educate the community, education by conversation, exactly what imminent danger is, what are the DHS policies, what is a social worker supposed to be doing. A social worker is not the police. A social worker has been known to lie to police. You don't have to give them access to your home. You don't have to sign any contracts if they slide in front of you. And if they take your family or your person without abiding by your constitutional rights and the CPS funding sources that is intended to preserve families, they are to be charged criminally for RICO, Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organizations, under Title 18. This was provided for us in the collaboration, Leonard Henderson, AFRA. It's at familyrights.us/bin/CPS. Violates these in every case. If you've been victimized by CPS, it's known by many different acronyms: CPS, OCS, CYS, DFCS, ABC, XXYZ. All right, whatever you've been victimized by, right? These are the things that had to occur. Your rights that were violated under Title 18, U.S. Section 241, conspiracy. They plan to do it. It's systematic now. It moves in machine-like fashion. But as we gather our evidence and publicly post to a U.S. citizens-controlled public docket for the sake of truth and public record, once verified, and it remains out there in cyberspace for U.S. Department of Justice.gov servers to see and download, for U.S. Senate.gov servers to see and download, for Navy Intelligence NCIS to see and download, and other military servers, and President's White House to see and download, U.S. Department of Justice Eric Holder, see and download. We show up as a galvanized, tragically far too large constituency of federal crime victim claimants, satisfying the definition of the U.S. Attorney's Office of what official corruption, fraud, and civil rights is, supposedly having 2004 Bill of Rights, one of which is to confer with a federal attorney and another of which is protection from the accused. So once you learn what color of law is and who's acting like a criminal and that they conspire to do it, learn these. My daughter's going to learn these. I'm learning these. Learn these. These will make a difference in whether or not when you're wrongfully arrested for trying to protect your family, it'll make a difference in whether or not you're just missing, never heard from again, as opposed to someone is going to be responsible. A county, the municipality jurisdiction will have to be responsible for breaking the laws, all right? And I'm not just talking about civil lawsuits. I'm talking about criminal, RICO. This is a matter of gathering evidence, racketeering influence, RICO indictments. That's what we want. Too many people fought and died so you could vote. Vote, vote, vote. Do not withhold your vote. Exercise your right to vote. DHS slaughtered families. Do vote. Vote, vote, vote. Cross party lines. Send a clear message. Unethical or non-responsive elected officials are removed. And for us here in Philadelphia, that means no second-term nutter. In our ad, our quarter-page ad, education through conversation. It's very important to ask your candidates, whatever jurisdiction in, whatever state, whatever town you're in. If there's a candidate who wants your vote and you find yourself an opportunity to ask them a question, ask them, do you have any awareness or acknowledgement whatsoever of what official corruption, fraud, and civil rights is? If they say yes, right, then you say, oh, then could you please tell me if you're appreciative of the impacts that it's having on the working class, student, and impoverished American family whose loved ones of every age, disabled, which include disabled, elderly, and children, are being kidnapped for profit, and how their disabled and missing economy-enriching career contributions are causing us to have a problem with economy reform and causing an education reform state of emergency, as no child can receive education no matter how progressive the opportunities are if they are trauma injured through separation trauma from their nurturers, their familiar surroundings, their familiar loved ones, and family and neighbors, to be placed at highest risk of sexual predators, mental cruelty, neglect, abuse, and to be fed through the people-eating machine. Are you aware that that is why the international community has no respect for Americans learning that we're considered damn near illiterate in the international community? Because we've lost, since our beloved Senator Nancy Schaefer pointed out, since 1984, the funding incentives that came down would require somebody to be a saint in order to pass them up. So the incentive for a social worker to report a family member to the child abuse registry, defrauding the child abuse registry, so that she or he could pocket $6,000 in their own pocket for transporting that child, claiming and violating the family preservation aspects of the CPS funding source, to put $6,000 or $10,000 for a special needs child in their pocket, and then giving that child Ritalin and psychotropic drugs, claiming they're crying to it. You realize the economic and education reform impacts that are creating a public safety emergency when our very own public officials sit down behind closed doors with the agency's more than 200 billing contractors. Some of our domestic relations judges sit on their boards in conflict of interest, on their boards of directors of these various nonprofits, so that our children, generation after generation, are destroyed and end up on an already overburdened, at-risk Social Security Administration? Do you have any idea the impacts? And if so, what are you going to do about it as a politician? Require all candidates to at least acknowledge the problem of official corruption, fraud, and civil rights to get your vote. Don't withhold your vote. Use your galvanized clout, your endorsement and impeachment clout, to suggest to vote in ethical judiciary. And once a public official like our Mayor Michael Nutter shows that he's unethical and sits down at closed-door meetings with in favor of the billing agendas of the 200 contractors of DHS that's destroying our children, vote him out by crossing any party line you have to cross to vote for anybody but him. Vote him out. All right? All right. God bless everyone. This is probably getting too long. I'll make another series. We're going to talk to Lasara Esenaro today, who's doing amazing work. He's making an amazing contribution in measuring the judicial corruption emergency in the jurisdiction of Alaska. We have Anchorage. His case, Esenaro versus Flannery, is in Anchorage, and he has gone as far as the Senate, getting Senate attention for this Judge Gleason, who's been nominated to a federal court judgeship, and that's very important that the USSenate.gov can come and find our evidence in a public place, an uncensored docket, for the sake of truth and public record. And it's very important that he's willing to share this, able to go through whatever it takes to anybody who will talk to him. And he actually got a response from a Senator Rubino in Florida, giving us the next administrative step, the next administrative tool. If it works, don't fix it, don't reinvent the wheel. But what you need to do to fairly compete, you tweak, you hone what you need to do. So if we need to come up with a package, that Senator Rubino has let Lazaro Esenaro know that in order for a senator to talk to a federal agency, a Privacy Act consent form must be filled out. Then that's how we're going to tweak, hone all of our standard access, standard services, just like the machine eats us in mechanized fashion. Federal crime victim statement says this: if one of us should fall, or 10 of us should fall, or 100 of us should fall, we will have a community needs powered, personality independent mechanism in place that will automatically trigger the rescue of children of all ages destroyed, injured, disabled, and wrongfully killed. Heritage and future are at stake. As President Obama said in his speech, it's my Champion of Patriotism's letter, the Champion of Patriotism quotes letter to President Obama and Eric Holder. Mr. Obama said in his speech when he accepted the Nobel Peace Prize, make no mistake, there is evil in the world. Some things you just can't talk about. You have to act aggressively. Our challenge is no more going underground, no more running. We're going to live above ground. We're going to attend our places of worship. We're going to go to our schools. We're going to go to our jobs. And we're going to rescue our families. And we're going to form citizens' grand juries, safe haven, DHS abused runaways that protect our children and loved ones that are able to get away while we stand up and hold pictures and all the evidence of the assailants in front of City Hall and demand corrupt district attorneys arrest the real criminals who like to beat on, drug, and rape children. All right, even though it does benefit DHS. All right. All right, God bless them. Oh, and Greenwich Family Rescue, Ezekiel and Ariel Bound Private Investigation has some information about Sandra Sullivan, where she's still perpetrating SSI fraud and receiving public assistance in a program here in Philadelphia. So that's good information to know as we track our children. All families, take your surname. Family victims, take your surname. Take your surname, Angela Bar 5. Mary August, take your surname. Private investigation, rescue, and then the kidnapped for profit children. Hannah and Savannah, Ezekiel and Ariel Brown, M.B. Smith and Zayn Hill, whose names, by the way, M.B. Smith and Zayn Hill, have been changed to Daniel and Kevin. So if you're seeing this as adults, Daniel and Kevin, your grandmother, Janice Brown, and your grandfather, Maurice West, want you back. And you have a huge family, 3 generations that love you very much. All right? And don't forget all the children in Alaska. Our show, our Blog Talk radio show, and my next video is going to be about the corruption emergency in Alaska. Psylocke, Wasilla, Palmer in Kodiak came through 2 weeks ago. Rhonda Palmer. And this is all, and SNR v. Flaherty, and you know about the Anya James case, that adoptive mother who had 6 kids, got $750,000 from OCS placements where the Eula Rivers / Torek / Edison was coerced and terrorized to relinquish her parental rights by a social worker, Phil Kaufman, whose reputation preceded him. Everyone was afraid of him, right? Even the tribal representatives were afraid of him and could not protect their people. Even his co-workers called him Bulldog. So all he had to do was call up Eula Rivers and Richard Rivers and say, you might as well go on and sign you to relinquish your parental rights, because if we take you to court, you're going to lose them anyway. That's terrorism. And 2 of her children were tortured and almost killed by Anya James, who's on a criminal trial now. And still, OCS is still acting like they have some jurisdiction instead of apologizing and paying damages for the harms that they caused in that illegal adoption placement.